Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys feeling?
I'm nervous. I don't know why.
I'm nervous.
I'm normally behind the camera, so.
Oh yeah, they're allergic to being in front of the camera.
This is what Belle looks like, in fact. Why don't we start with you guys just introducing yourselves really quick, and then we can go from there.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Leslie. I'm 25 years old, born and raised in Chicago, and I've been living in California for school since 2018.
2018.
Yep. I was in San Diego and then now Bay Area.
Yeah, fun fact, when I first met Leslie, I didn't know that she wasn't California native. Well, not just California native, SoCal native. Like you gave that vibe.
I got that a lot.
Yeah.
Too.
I was very surprised.
I feel like I adjusted very fast because everyone's really nice.
You're ready.
Hi, I'm Belle. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. I'm 26 years old. I still don't have health insurance. Sorry.
Real.
I am a photographer and I'm a videographer,
An editor,
and director,
and director.
Guys.
All of the above. And who is this young fellow over here?
This is Carlo. Carlo, would you like to say a few words?
Okay.
He is 9 months old. We got him in
January.
Oh my gosh, it's been since January. And we got him when he was
2 months.
2 months old. So he's still a growing boy.
He just had his surgery.
Yeah, he's a man now.
He looks like a man now. Used to be like
He used to fit in your
you
hand.
could just hold him and there'd be no
Are you
weight.
gonna insert photos?
Yeah.
Okay.
No weight.
So Belle is my sibling, and Belle and Leslie are also my roommates. So I currently live with my husband and these two, and then there's another dog somewhere, but his name is Quincy. But we all live together. But really, I want to kind of start with your guys' story. It's funny because I feel like this has been very highly anticipated. Even I don't think I know like the full story. I was very heavily involved without knowing.
Yeah, there's definitely so many parts that you don't know that I didn't know you didn't know because Belle just was like not sharing any information.
Not sharing anything, but you know, this will be interesting to kind of put all the pieces together. So, I don't know, wherever you guys want to start is perfect for me.
I'll start. So it was a cousin's vacation. We went to San Diego. Lived in San Diego at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a vacation because Jake had never been to Jake's our cut.
Jake, shout out to our first guest in our first episode. So it was the cousins trip was me, Belle, and Jake.
Yeah. Have you heard this part? Okay.
Have I heard it?
So it was a cousin's trip. It was a really fun trip too. But during that time, I was in my hot Belle summer phase. And I happened to be on Bumble.
What a hot summer it was.
And I saw this cute thing right here. And so I said, do you swipe or do you press hard?
Swipe.
I swipe.
Yes.
Right.
Bumble was swipe. Can I say my part of
God,
that?
it's been so long. I don't even remember what
Can I say
direction
my
you swipe.
Oh yeah, this was back in
2020.
2020, yeah.
I remember seeing them on Bumble, and I was like, "Oh, they're cute." But for some part of me was like, "I don't know which one I want to do. Like, I don't know which one I want to swipe."
Wow, so you were unsure.
So unsure that I just didn't touch the app for a second. So I was like, "I don't know." I literally didn't even
So basically,
decide
she
yet.
didn't think I was cute.
I thought they're cute. Carlo.
I think
Quincy won me over in the last photo.
Oh, Quincy was in the last
You
photo.
can thank Quincy.
Do you still have that photo?
I do. It's
Because in every photo, Belle had sunglasses on.
Is it the one with the red shirt?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Oh my god, I know exactly what photo it is.
Belle had sunglasses on in that photo.
Half of my face was covered.
And
was
most
wearing
of
a
them.
Okay.
So
can you blame me?
You left the app for a few days because you weren't sure. Was it like you sensed that there was trouble?
No, it was just literally the fact that like their full face was not like fully clear in any of the photos, and I was like,
I was a catfish.
but no, they're kind of cute. And then like they had like a little skateboarding photo, and I was like, oh my god, a little skateboarder. And eventually I did go back. Obviously, I swiped right, and then the craziest thing is that by the time I swiped right and we matched, the however many miles they were away from me updated,
No.
and all of a sudden it was like 400 something miles
Okay,
away.
okay,
Oh,
wait. Let's just backtrack a little bit, okay?
I'm hearing both perspectives.
I
but it's
seriously,
fine.
I wasn't sure that she was gonna match with me. And, you know, at the time I was in San Diego, so I just figured, hey, let's just see. And then I so happened to, it was like my first day back home, and then I got a message and she said, why are all the cute ones so far away? She got the riz, bro.
I'm not a shy girl.
She got the riz.
I mean, yes, you are.
Oh,
In some ways.
when it comes to flirting, no.
Okay. So just some context. So I was living in San Diego at the time. Belle was living in. Were you in San Jose or SF?
I was in San Jose because it was during COVID, so
So
I
this
had
was
to
during
move back.
COVID.
Yeah.
So I think you guys visited me. Maybe summer of 2020.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was it before or after our trip? I don't even remember.
It was before. That trip is what.
There's,
yeah.
there's
Oh, yeah.
stories around that trip too.
Okay, so it was like summer-ish, I think maybe early summer of 2020 when Belle came and visited me. They matched, and then Leslie took forever to respond. So Belle came back to San Jose, which is like the other side of California.
Yep.
For those who aren't familiar, but okay, go on. Leslie came up with this really, really great pickup line.
Yeah, and I just thought,
And they fell for it.
okay. The thing is, in my past, I've never dated anyone who wasn't Asian or Filipino, so I was kind of like intrigued, and I didn't even know that you were gonna match with me. So I'm like, you know what?
You thought I was mixed.
With what?
Filipino.
I said,
Really?
maybe. Yeah.
I
That's
think
why
that's why you
that's
were
why-
like not as scared. This one.
Yeah. We basically started FaceTiming like very quick, and she had never seen one of my favorite shows, Avatar: The Last Airbender. She had never seen
Oh,
it
yeah.
before.
Oh my
And so I
God.
said, I'm gonna take it upon myself to watch it with you, like over Zoom. What? No,
Not
over
Zoom,
over
it's FaceTime.
FaceTime. Over FaceTime. And I'm just like, okay, you can't watch this specific episode without me. She was like, okay, and we had
Wait, which
talked.
episode?
Crossroads of Destiny.
Oh my God.
No,
You
100%. You
cannot.
can't.
Yes,
You
yes,
can't.
okay.
We were FaceTiming we started FaceTiming really quickly, like almost every day for like a full month.
Really?
And I remember that I didn't want to like sleep over FaceTime because I'm like, it's not that deep. Like I'm not gonna date her. Like it's just kind of
So
like.
what was going through your mind? You're just like, here's just this pretty person that I'm.
I
Yeah.
think at that
FaceTiming every
point
single
it
day.
was just for fun because we were so far away.
Yeah, and also it was during COVID. We were all like lonely, you
Yeah,
know. So
that's
like,
true.
so-
Bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally so bored.
So I
Another excuse
remember
to watch Avatar.
Yeah, and I remember a couple times like Leslie would want to like just leave it up. Like she would fall asleep on FaceTime, or I would fall asleep, and like wasn't there a night that it actually happened?
I don't remember.
Okay, I think I do remember.
But it sounds like it was like an
Yeah,
accident.
And I like instantly hung up. I was like, we did not just do this. Like it was like, yeah.
Wait, why?
Because they were scared.
I was scared, honestly. This entire like beginning half of our relationship is because I was so scared of love, because I didn't want to go through the same heartbreak that I did before moving back to San Jose.
So you were kind of fresh off of a breakup.
Yeah. Hot Bell Summer. I'm just
Before Belle had even came back to San Diego, they had told me pretty much that like they love to beat around the bush and never get straight to the point. They want like me. They always want like someone else to lead it. They're like, so like why, like what brought you to Bumble? Like why were you on Bumble? And I was like, what are you gonna say? Just say it.
okay. Wait. A little bit before that, I didn't have any warnings that she was gonna be so
like
like
straightforward.
straightforward.
Mhm.
Like she kind of puts me in check sometimes where I'm like beating around the bush and I'm trying to avoid certain questions or certain answers to like say. But
Which don't waste my time.
No,
Yeah, because I was
like,
I
actually
immediate because it came out of nowhere, and I was like, immediately I felt like it was going towards a certain conversation. So I was like, "Why were you like? Just tell me now, like what?" And it wasn't like nothing aggressive, just straightforward. And they pretty much told me that they were like not ready or looking for anything. That they did really like me, but they're just like they said, I just got out of a pretty serious relationship, like, and I don't think I'm ready to be in a relationship. Basically saying like I don't want to do that to you and be selfish, not wanting to let you go.
Right.
And I was like, oh my god,
what were you doing at the time?
Yeah, I know, that's what I just remembered. No, just wait. I was feeling very different things, and they were feeling. We were both liked each other, but I was very like, I like this person.
She was whipped.
Was that something that you like? Did you know that early on?
Yes, because of what I'm about to say. I am very much. I like gift giving a lot, and it could be like to like someone that I just met and I'm like, you're pretty cool, or just someone I have a lot of feelings for. And I like making things. And Belle was skateboarding a lot at the time, so I literally like got a skateboard.
She bought one online.
A deck off eBay. And I was like, I'm going to paint this whole thing and add the grip tape and like design everything.
Doesn't know anything about skateboarding.
No. I was like painting it on my bed. Literally, I remember being on my bed painting it. Like it was intricate. Okay, it was my best work.
It was
so cool. It was Avatar and then a bee at the top and whatever. But as I was painting this thing on my bed, excited to give it to them for whenever they came down, that conversation started happening. And I literally remember I like looked at my phone and I went, oh my god, because I felt very like stupid in the moment, just because I was like,
did that surprise you?
Yeah,
like you thought the relationship was going
I thought everything was very mutual, but I didn't really know about that they had just gotten out of a serious relationship, or else I don't think I would have been as shocked about it. And my roommate was like on her bed because we shared a room, and she was like on the other side, and I reacted, and she was like, what happened? I was like, you're never gonna believe the conversation I'm having right now. Honestly, with everything that they said, like part of me, because of what I was in the middle of doing, I was mad, but not really like actually mad at them. I think I was just like
disappointed, maybe.
Yeah. But I couldn't actually like be mad at them because everything they said, I was like, you know what, I respect it, because they were very upfront with me. Like, you know what, it could have been worse. They could have ghosted me.
Okay, and then so I went to go visit Ina.
When was this?
It was
a few weeks later.
Yeah, a few weeks later. It was still a couple weeks before our road trip. Or was it? Actually, I think I was coming because we left from San Diego.
Belle and I were, we really like to camp and like hike and stuff. And this was during COVID, so we were like itching to do something. So we planned this road trip that went through from San Diego to Arizona to Utah to Vegas and then back. So Belle came down so that we can leave because it's easier to get to Arizona from San Diego.
And then I had met up with her.
We still had each other on everything.
Yeah.
And like we're still not actively talking. We would just pop back in.
Wait, so after that conversation, you guys stopped talking as much?
We were still
talking.
Oh.
We just didn't
but it wasn't
FaceTime like every day or something like that. It was just like,
hey.
Yeah, that was the point of our relationship where I was like glued to my phone just because like the text messages weren't coming out as fast.
Oh, so you noticed a difference.
Yeah, so I mean we were still talking, but it was still like platonic, and so when I went to San Diego, I went to go meet up with her because I mean, why not?
Yeah, well, they were coming to meet me.
I was gonna go.
This whole time thought Belle was visiting.
Yeah, Belle
her.
told me. Belle told me, it was like, oh, I have a friend who works at Starbucks in San Diego, and I was like, oh yeah, go off, go meet her.
Yeah. And this is the first time we met in person. We were in the garage. Yeah. And so I didn't know where to go because she at the time lived in a college
Off
Was
campus.
it Boulevard?
Yeah.
Housing.
I was so freaking nervous.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like, dude, like
this was your first time meeting after talking for like what, a month?
yeah, and I'm like, okay, no, I don't like her. And when I saw her in person, I'm like, I like her. I'm like, okay,
What was I wearing?
You were wearing shorts, right?
I'm not testing you. I just want to know if you.
Do you remember?
No.
Okay, no, you were just wearing a t-shirt and shorts and your like slip-on Vans.
Period.
Yeah. And when she met me downstairs, she had the skateboard deck.
Was that when we were? Oh yeah, because we were going to Sunset
Like immediately.
Cliffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were gonna drive to Sunset Cliffs. We were just gonna hang out.
This
smoke.
wasn't a date, but it definitely was.
I was contemplating. Oh, I finished the board. I still did everything. I wasn't even fully done when they had like broke the news to me. But I was like, you know what? I'm already this deep in. I have everything. I'm just gonna finish it. And I still made it the exact way I was planning on. I was like, you know what? They're not a bad person. I might seem a little crazy having made this out of nowhere and giving it to them, but
we left out a really important part.
What?
So in the time that like we weren't really talking as much, she started talking to someone. So that was another thing where I was like, okay, let me just take a step back because she's obviously moved on and I'm just gonna, but yeah, that was a thing. And then after we went to Sunset Cliffs, I had dropped her off and you said, oh, I have a lot of homework to do. Or was that a different time?
That was a different day. That was the last time.
The last time.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Okay.
No, okay. They're so bad at telling stories sometimes.
I'm not
Okay.
though.
First time,
Sorry.
they came to the parking lot, whatever. I gave them the board. Yeah, because then the second time, I know what you're trying to say. The second time, they came over and we went back to my apartment and we were just at the top of the parking garage just skating, and then we would stop and just talk and whatever. They weren't even trying to be close to me. They weren't even trying to flirt. They were just trying to hang out. Belle was keeping their distance to an extent. And
to an extent, I was respectful.
And I randomly like hit them with the, oh, by the way, like I'm not talking to anyone anymore.
Oh, the plot
said-
thickens.
Okay.
The vibe switch was crazy.
Really?
Yes, I was trying, like at the time I knew that she was talking to someone. So I'm like, let's just, be
It
friends.
wasn't even that serious, honestly, though.
And then did we go on our trip?
Yeah, we did. We went to the trip after I got home, or I went back to her place. It was just really hard because like there's just a lot going through my head. Like I came in like thinking a whole different way about her, and then I left like thinking a whole. So I was just very confused and overwhelmed, and I just didn't know how to process everything. So I just got back to her house, and I kind of just sat there, and I didn't really do much. I was kind of just sitting there like in my.
I genuinely had no idea any of this was happening.
Yeah.
There was one point, and I don't know where in the timeline this is. We obviously Belle's still not wanting a relationship, but now things were not as like platonic, I guess. And Belle would try to hang out with me, and I like either wouldn't be able to, or maybe I just wouldn't respond. And this was me protecting myself because I was just like, they don't really
Okay, but like
want me right now. And
this is when she was like playing hard to get, but like she wasn't playing hard to get. She was just like, let me just take a step back.
Yes.
Instead of me taking it. It's
yeah.
Like, so she was
because I was so eager in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then that hurt. So I was like, okay, let me just. And then Belle was emo and went to go get a tattoo.
No, okay, no. We skipped the whole part. We skipped the whole road trip part.
Yeah, because the road trip actually was important.
Iconic road trip.
Yes, the iconic road trip that literally changed my life. But that's a story for another
lives,
day.
actually.
Yeah, honestly, it was a very life changing.
No, it was good. Yeah, I just had weird dreams about her, and I thought that they were real. And then I would just discuss it with her, and Ina's just like, I think you like her. Oh no, this is when confess to you.
Yeah, well,
I told you everything.
Yeah, you were like, you just came out
and I was
and
like,
said
you
it
know,
all.
I need to tell you.
And I was like, what is going on? Like, I could tell that there was something that was really troubling you.
Yeah. But yeah, that was basically the road trip that changed both of our lives, and the reason why this is happening, right?
What do you mean this? Like,
No, like we live together still.
yes. So yeah, the road trip is the reason why I moved back from San Diego to
Mhm.
San Jose, and
Yeah.
then we moved in together.
I wanted to hang out with her because I was leaving the day after that to go back to San Jose, because we only had like that extra day in San Diego, and then I left after. And I really just wanted to spend the rest of my time in San Diego with her.
We didn't.
But she like left me on red. And like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a tattoo. like I feel like I'm
Oh my god, that's why you got the tattoo. Which
Yep.
one?
Because I was gonna say show the tattoo.
Yeah, because I was
They
like,
wanted to distract themselves.
yeah.
I had no idea that was the context. So this tattoo is like it's like a red. I don't know how you would describe the font.
It's like gothic.
Yeah, like ye old, you know.
Mhm.
It's red. It says 1999, and it's on Belle's like right, like lower upper arm, like right above the elbow.
Yeah, and I didn't tell any of you guys this, but
Don't
like
be sad. Go get a tattoo.
exactly. My tattoo artist, her name was Alexa, and I was like, she's like, so what brings you in? Just do it. Just tattoo me. Like I'm fine.
I don't want
And
this
she's like, oh no,
small talk.
Yeah, let's just get started, you know. And she was just trying to small talk me, but I was in a very like, I wouldn't say bad mood, but I was just upset.
Fast forward, like the year after that, like
We hadn't talked for like how long?
a year.
A year,
Almost
and
a year.
I blocked her.
Wait, but okay, so sorry. Just to recap, Belle went on this life-changing road trip, finally reconciled their feelings for Leslie. But by then it was too late.
Fast forward the next, like throughout that next year, I was in like a situationship. Like it was never like official relationship. That was a mess. Whatever. And throughout that time, like Belle didn't block me, but they muted me on everything so they wouldn't see anything of mine pop up. They didn't want to see what I was doing. They didn't want to see another person probably pop up, whatever. And so I didn't take them off of anything. I didn't mute them on anything. I was still saying whatever. And Belle like didn't really post a lot at the time. So when they would, every now and then, every month, every few months or so, whatever, I would always slide up and say something.
Really?
Like not really flirting. I think it would just kind of like friendly vibes.
For sure.
But just being like,
I know she's kind of
like I still exist.
I know, seriously.
And yeah, I know I slid up on something that was just you, and one that I remember was specifically you and Justice. And then
you said fuck, what'd you say? Like I like your fit or something.
Yeah.
I like your outfit.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And then May of 2021.
Wait.
What?
No. Before that. I saw a Snapchat. I finally looked at a Snapchat because I'm like, I cannot. Like
the timing is crazy because I was hella posting.
The Snapchat that I saw was not PG. What she was wearing is the reason. Well, one of the
PG.
She was with her friends.
It was not on purpose.
She was with her friends and she was kind of just shaking ass. Sorry, can I?
Shaking beep.
She was shaking booty. Oh wait, my conversation with Justice.
Oh yeah, say that part.
We were in the parking lot and I was like, Justice, let me show you this girl. And he's like, okay.
It was that Snapchat.
Oh.
And he's like, damn, she cute. He's like, so what about her? I'm like, I need to tell you something. I basically gave him a rundown and he's like, you're dumb as fuck. You're dumb as fuck.
I think Leslie would agree.
You let that slip away. He kind of not slapped me, but like he was kind of just like metaphorically, yeah.
Like, get yourself
He's
together.
like, dude, you need to pull yourself together. Text her right now. Like right now.
So it was Justice.
He was, yeah, actually. Shout out to my bestie.
Pretty pivotal part.
Push.
Yeah, he was definitely the push that I did need to like reach out again. But you can continue.
And then May 2021, Belle finally hits me up and was like, So this is like this part is like the gayest thing ever. It is like the most stereotypical gay thing ever, because they hit me up and they're like, "Hey, so like, what did you say?"
No, like Ina is gonna be out of the apartment for the weekend.
Where was I going? Yosemite?
One solo.
Oh
trip.
no, Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Oh
so
right.
She was gone for like maybe 3-4 days, and then I'd asked her like, you've never really seen
The Bay
around,
Area.
Bay Area, and I can show you around. Like, would you be down to, like, I'll have the house to myself. The gay thing is, you went, you came, she came over.
You guys, it was both pretty gay.
Yeah. You immediately invited me over to your house because it was gonna be you were
Parents are
all
gone.
alone. And so I was down, but at the time, like I had Ginger, my pit bull, my cute little pit, and I know, and she's not a small girl, she's not like these two, and I was like, I'm down to come, but can I bring my dog? Could I bring her? Like, she's not small, like she's pretty, like Belle had seen her before, and Belle was just like, oh my god, yeah, of course. And Quincy went to the grandparents' house just to make sure.
Did really? I thought they met.
That was
the
we were
second
dating
time.
already by the time that they met.
Yeah. No, because I knew his ass would have like.
Yeah,
hella...
Quincy's not very good with other dogs, but he is really good with girl dogs.
Yeah.
So it probably would have been fine, but they, it's
Just
fine.
to
They
keep it
they
safe.
shipped him off.
Yeah.
So the time came around, I drove literally like 7 to 8 hours by myself to go stay at this person's house who I only seen like a handful of times.
Oh my gosh.
And then
After they ghosted you for like,
at that point, my situationship had like ended, and I think we liked each other, but we're like it's not anything
like
serious.
can we just stop, like can we
like
just
dancing
stop
around.
yeah
Yeah.
let's just
At that point we were like just back and forth, so it was just like for fun, and I was just like, you know what, like I really liked you and you were a really good person, I'm gonna go see you, like I don't care about whatever it is I just went through. And yeah, they showed me around SF, and we went to the Rose Garden.
Wait, that was your first time seeing the Golden Gate Bridge?
Everything. I never ever even thought of San Francisco or the Bay Area until I met them, because
California to her was SoCal.
Because
That's
I'm
fair.
from the Midwest, I didn't know anything.
Yeah, California is like Santa Monica Pier and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
palm trees.
I barely knew about San Diego. I thought everything was LA.
By now, Belle and I were living together in San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on a trip, a solo trip to Hawaii, which is funny because that's where Brad's from, but I didn't meet him there. And then Leslie came and visited while I was gone.
Mm-hmm.
She actually met a few.
Oh yeah,
too.
I literally. Oh my god, I forgot about that part. I got to San Jose, right? When I first got to San Jose, Belle was like having a panic attack apparently because they saw how close I was.
This never happens, by the
He's
way.
gonna lay on his head. He's gonna lay on his head. He's on his head. Wait, catch him. You guys can both share it. Just no sitting on
Why
head.
is this happening like right now?
Quincy, just
I feel like this episode will get more views because of all the puffy cuteness.
He looks so.
Here, I'm just gonna move him this way.
Relax.
Okay,
there we go.
we're good. There's a barrier.
God, it's like me and Belle when we share a bed. Belle has to put a pillow in between us. Okay.
Yeah, Belle was having like a panic attack. Justice was at the apartment too because Belle was too scared to see me by themselves.
Was he really there?
He was already there.
He was there too?
Yes.
Wow.
Dang, I really
So
needed
I
the
got
support.
there. Yeah. When I saw them, I literally went straight in for a hug, like nothing ever changed, like nothing had ever even happened.
It was seriously like nothing happened.
And I could feel that they were like, oh my god, like they weren't
like they were
expecting me.
they were expecting it to be kind of like
Oh hey,
yeah,
awkward,
yeah, like very surface
I
level.
hate awkward. I do everything I can to avoid it. I'm like, no, we're fine. I know you know me. And we went inside, we were like chatting it up, whatever, and then we realized because Justice was like, oh, what's your sign? And I was like, I said I was a Cancer, and they went terrified. And they're like, wait, what do you think I am? I was like, you know what? I actually don't know what you are, which should have given me an indication to know exactly what they were. And pretty much we ended up being the signs that
Least compatible.
and like what our past partners were that had put us through things were those same signs. So like all Belle dated were cancers that traumatized him. All I had dated right before that was like Aquarius.
Aquarii.
So like we were like we literally said that and we went.
Yeah, I was like,
God,
are
I
you
wish I
like,
could've
are you
seen that.
sure? Like, do you want to just?
I was like, I really just drove this whole way. I was like, oh my god, I'm stuck here for the next 3 to 4 days. God, that part was
She's
really
a different
funny.
Cancer though. She was born in June, so it's different.
And Belle's a Cancer moon. They like to emphasize this part. That's
I think if Belle was not a Cancer moon, it would have been very different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then they invited like 3 or 4 friends on like I think like
What is this friend groups in a gang?
She met Justice, Joelle, Kenny, and Sophia, who used to work at Moto.
I was so scared. I was like, all these people I don't know and I'm getting introduced to. I was like, what is happening? What is this?
Yeah.
I was like, where are we? But they were all super, super nice, like very like down to earth people. So I wasn't anxious.
Did they ever like share with you, Belle, their impressions of Leslie after?
Yeah, did they?
No.
Well, we know Justice like loved you from
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Joelle didn't say anything. I love Joelle.
No, I think he just saw that I was super happy, so he just
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that them not saying anything was probably a good thing. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I left, and then
we still weren't together. We're still
and then that summer, pretty much, it was like Belle came down to see me like 2 more times, I think, and one of those times you and like and Janina and Lance like I remember came to Boulevard where I lived to pick them up, and that's when I met you for the first time. Like it was so brief.
Yeah,
because we were going back.
Going back home. It was after Janice and Rio's birthday, which was in LA, and then we went down to San Diego to visit my friends there. Belle was there too, and so
the whole reason why I wanted to tag along on that trip. Those people, those people aren't really like they're my friends, but they went to college.
They're more my friends.
Yeah.
But they,
I literally tagged along to like the most random group. Like
it was a random birthday.
So I slept on the floor for her. Was it 2 or 3 nights?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I slept on a hard ass floor, and I'm just
it was like yeah, you get the floor. These aren't even your friends.
No, seriously.
But yeah. So when we were about to drive back up to San Jose after that trip, Belle was at Leslie's, and so we picked Belle up on our way to literally leave. Like our car was packed and everything. Honestly, my first impression was that you guys literally just woke up and you were like half awake.
Probably.
Oh,
yeah.
Probably. Wait, did I sleep over?
Yeah.
I slept over.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you finally got a bed.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I think it was like 2 nights, if anything. A
Oh my
night or
God.
2. It wasn't anything crazy.
Oh my god.
So that must have been like June of 2021.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I went through like housing stuff the next few months after, and Belle was still like back and forth. Belle would come see me, but I would mostly go up to San Jose to see them because I was just like, I want to get out of here. Like I just needed like not.
Yeah, you had like really awful roommate situations, right?
Yeah, that, and then I was living with a friend at one point who was so nice to let me like live with her.
Oh.
And it was nice. It's just like her place wasn't very big, and she also had 2 cats and another dog that was even bigger than Ginger. So it was just a little crowded. So I would always just want to like get away a little bit from everything because it was a lot going on. Belle randomly is like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this festival. Like, do you want to go like to Audiotistic?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm down to go. I've never been to a festival. Like, Belle always gave very like safe space." Very like no judgment. Sorry, before we get to the whole like, Audiotistic, because so I bought the tickets, days were going by, and I'm like, you know what, like if I'm not their girlfriend by the time that I am going to this freaking festival, I'm not going. Because I was like, it's been this long, we talk this much, we've traveled how many times to see each other. I was like, I'm not gonna go if they don't ask me out. And there was one point they wanted all of a sudden to take a step back because they had a dream, something bad happened. It included me, and because they felt bad after the dream, they were just like, oh my god, I want to take a step back, like I don't want to move too fast, whatever. So they had told me that, and I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. And my Latina came out, and I was like, I'm gonna be so serious right now. I was like, I'm like, that is a dream. It didn't happen.
It was on text.
I'm like, I'm gonna put everything out there right now and be blunt. And I was like, I really like you, and I would love to be in a relationship with you. So do with that information what you will, because if you want to take a step back, I'm not doing it. And
Period.
they were like on the way to school, going through
I
crisis,
was
panicking.
on Caltrain.
Belle, it was a dream. What was the dream?
It was just a really real dream.
I think it was something like cheating or something.
Oh yeah. You had cheated in the dream.
Even though we weren't together.
Yeah. You had cheated, and I think I really cared about it, and like it really made me upset. So I'm like, okay, I don't want.
Yeah, I wasn't mad.
Okay, it sounds ridiculous.
Yes, because it was. I was annoyed, so I was like,
okay, let's just go past this. Okay.
And then, what'd you say? They pretty much said, like, I like you too, blah, blah, like, I would want to be in the relationship too, whatever. So then we were on the same page, and then I came up to San Jose again. They went to Monterey. They were taking me to Monterey because I'd never been, and they just wanted me to see the aquarium. We were driving, we were on the way, and they turned to me randomly, and they're like, so, you know how, like, you've been seeing each other, like, and, like, not really, like, talking to anybody else? And I was just like, yeah. And they go, yeah, we should keep doing that.
I could see this. Yeah, we should keep,
They were not looking at me either.
I was driving.
No, but you did it. You asked that question while you were driving on purpose.
And they went, yes, we should keep doing that. And I literally went, are you asking me out right now? And I went, is this your way of asking me out right now? And they're like, yeah. And I went, ask it again. I said, ask it right, pretty much.
Yeah, she's like, you need to ask
It's
it
like,
right.
be better, please.
And they're just like, yeah, like, will you be my girlfriend?
Yeah. So like,
will you be my girlfriend?
Literally that. And I was just like,
I also didn't want to make it like a huge like.
why?
Did you?
Do you know me?
Obviously not.
I will re-ask you to be my girlfriend. But yeah.
So what day was that?
September 13, 2020.
So that was like
2021.
Yeah, 2021.
Yes.
So it was like
Yes.
it was an hour. It was a year and like a few months after you guys met.
Yeah.
Yep. It really took that long for me to be. I'm kind of disappointed in myself.
I was making fun of them the whole time after that. Like before we even got to Monterey, I was just like, we should keep doing that. We should keep doing that.
Okay, so my perspective on this, at least at the time, only knowing Belle's side of the story, I think you guys matched at kind of a weird time for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, what was it, like 8 months that you guys didn't really talk romantically or anything? Like, during those 8 months, Belle and I were both like simultaneously and together kind of doing a lot of like deep healing together,
Yeah.
you know, because like I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship. Belle was still healing from their relationship, and we had just moved in together and lived together for the first time since we were still in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a lot of like work that we were doing with each other, and like, you know, we were just healing, honestly. Like, I don't know how else to describe it other than we were just healing. I think they grew a lot, you know, and I think that like that time needed to happen.
Oh yeah,
you know, like
sure.
for them to just like grow a little bit, you know. I think that it was like almost like the right person, wrong time.
For sure.
And then, you know, I don't know if this was conscious for you, Belle, but it was almost like you knew that you weren't like good enough for her yet.
Yeah.
You know, or you weren't ready for it yet. And so like you did what you needed to do to like become that person that could be a good partner for her.
I didn't even think about
We had like talked about it before too, and I was like, you know what? Like, as like salty as I was in that moment, thinking back on him, like we would have ruined each other.
Yeah.
Because they weren't ready to be in a relationship. I was like baby gay. Like I hadn't experienced too much yet. I hadn't really been in
Not hetero.
and it,
Sexual
yeah,
relationship.
and not had a heterosexual relationship. And so I had still so much to learn, and I still had a lot of
Like exploring.
insecurities and just so many things that like what I know would have like I would not have handled things well if we would have to like deal with arguments and stuff like that, whatever. Like we both of us were not ready. And I think having gone through the situationship mess that I did, like I came out of that like so much more confident in myself, so much more aware of my like self-worth, that like no one could tell me anything, because I was just like it's like knowing I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I don't mind that. Like I don't need to be, and I don't want to be. Like
yeah, it just filters out the people that
exactly. So like I'm like, that's who I needed to be ready to be with them.
That's crazy. I think when we had started talking again after like situationship and stuff, I definitely felt like the energy change.
It was even more intimidating for them.
That's why no, but that's the thing. Like for me in my past relationships, it was like easy, you know, but like for her, for some reason, she put me in my place a lot of the time, which was super humbling because
yeah, honestly, like I hope it's okay to say, but Belle is like the chronically youngest sibling.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
So it's just two of us, right? But then like we also have like 3 step siblings, and they're all older than me. So Belle is like the youngest sibling. And like you have youngest sibling energy sometimes. You know, you're used to everyone just like babying you, you know? And like here Leslie comes along and she's like, I'm not gonna baby you. I'm gonna tell you straight up like how it is.
Yeah.
And like I think Belle just like
they were like
had never had that before, and then also too like probably really needed that, you know, to grow.
I'm still older though.
They thought I was really mean at first.
You were mean.
No, I wasn't.
You were mean.
But okay, so September 13th, that's your
it's coming up actually,
which is sick, because if we ever falls on like Friday the 13th, we can just go get like
piercing
tattoos together.
Hell yeah.
Which is very much us.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have been preparing for this episode and stuff, but like what is it like to like, you know, timeline it and put it all together?
I just like explaining like all of this, I didn't realize the timeline was so big. Like I've known you for 5 years. Like that's a long time.
It's a long time.
So just we randomly think about that, and then we're both like, okay, let's stop thinking about it.
Like,
it's too much time has passed.
I'm like, are you sure? Like, are you really sure?
And then I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure?
No, but it was cool like talking about it. We've never talked about it like fully in a timeline.
Also,
before.
never with you either.
Yeah, no, I just know pieces, and you know, like I know that like especially the parts where I'm just like, wait, like that's why you were in San Diego?
Yeah.
I remember, I think, you know, we were living at Stokes, and like Brad and I were, you know, dating at the time, and like it was, I imagine it was tough for you, Belle, because like I was like, you know, like prancing around, frolicking with my new relationship.
Oh yeah, they were
her new boy toy.
Belle would text me and I'm like, you're literally fine. Let her be happy. Like we just happen to be long distance.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted.
I feel like Brad's first impression of me.
No, it was.
Cause terrifying.
No, because like so when I was really getting to know Brad, I was like, dude, like you and Belle would really get along because you're so similar, right? And I hyped that up so much.
You just can't see it right now.
And then I would bring Brad home, and he would meet Belle, and Belle's like emo and depressed because they're missing Leslie, and Brad's like, really?
I was like, no. Brad's like, I don't see it.
It's like,
you're
trust me, they're just going through it right now because they're emo and sad, but yeah, no, that's what I wanted to ask, is that like you guys were long distance for such a long time in your relationship, and then you moved in together. Like, what was that like? That must have been such an adjustment.
We were long distance, I would say, from like once we like officially started dating, so like September, almost a full year, because I ended up moving up here in July of 2022. So it's like almost a full year of long distance. Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it felt like that, but it also didn't feel like that.
Yeah, like
But-
you guys would FaceTime all the time. At the time, Belle was still in school.
I was still in school,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so and Leslie, you were in school too,
Mhm.
but
I think us being in school and being long distance, like when we would see each other and just like both like understanding that, like, you know what, like maybe we can't really go out and do all these cute things and like have fun when we see each other. Like we kind of just have to lock in and do our work. As much as it sucked in the moment, it was really helpful. I feel like us being on the same page in that sense and prioritizing school and being okay with just spending time with each other in that way made me feel, I don't know, it just kind of made things easier for me knowing that you weren't so like, okay, but let's go do something. Okay, but let's go do something. Like
right.
they never forced me to like not prioritize school.
And
Yeah.
that's still true, I think, to this day.
Oh yeah.
I think living together, because I never lived with like a partner before. I've always just, either a couple nights or something, but actually living with you. I was really, really excited, but there's a lot of things that we didn't know about each other, especially living with each other. Obviously now we've like molded into the same.
Like you figured it out.
Yeah.
I understand where you were trying to go.
In the beginning, it was just the moving process was chaotic.
Yeah,
and so hard and so
that was
that was a
definitely
test.
No, it was
for sure.
like it was rough.
We
Like,
were not okay.
It wasn't like
between you guys.
us.
Yes.
Like it was pretty tough. Like even just getting down here, and I remember like how bad it was.
It's like we were still like literally still freshly a new couple and having to deal with moving. Like that's not something people don't typically deal with right away like that.
I also got COVID.
Yes.
Before that. So
they had COVID. I was so sick, not COVID, something else. And like moving and also dealing with Ginger because she liked to be next to us, but like in the way, but also scared of everything. So it was just like so many things at once. So that was definitely like a test. And like in the beginning, at one point, I definitely felt like I was like, maybe this happened a little too fast. But
the moving in part.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way.
And just like moving in together and like again learning how the other person is like on a day-to-day and living with each other on top of us both dealing with school, on top of me being at a new job and then driving to freaking Monterey all the time and Belle having to also very quickly kind of co-parent Ginger and her quirks.
Yeah. Ginger had she had a lot of like health issues
and anxiety.
Yeah.
So I think we love Ginger and all, but it was definitely a test in our relationship.
There was a lot of learning patience for a good amount of time in the beginning of our relationship that I think that was probably the hardest part of everything. Like everything was still hard, but that aspect kind of just
and I remember that too. Like this was around the time when we moved in here, right?
Yeah, because we were only at Stokes for like
we were only at Stokes for a few months. I think Brad and I like we understood. We were like, they were long distance for such a long time, and then now it's like you guys don't have any space. Like you're on top of each other all the time. Like you share one room. There's no way for you guys to like take a step back and like I remember Belle, you would have to drive somewhere like into the mountains or something to like just be able to breathe and like compose yourself and stuff. And like Leslie, oh my god, like you were driving to Monterey like 4 times a week, working full time, and your STEM major was like really picking up
on top of Ginger too.
I definitely remember that really tough time in your guys' relationship, but I do know and I remember and I felt it, like that shift when you guys were able to like pull yourself out of it. Like how did you guys do that? Because it was like night and day.
It definitely was not an overnight thing because there's a lot of things that we had to fix separate. Like I had a lot to fix. I think, dude, I totally lost my train of thought.
The biggest step the biggest step that helped us like start to be able to like move forward for the better was Belle acknowledging and accepting
My flaws.
not your flaws, just that you needed a little more help than like the typical person.
Yeah.
And you, as scary as it was in the beginning, like they were terrified to do it, but so willing to look for the help that they needed.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, like it definitely
Saved our relationship.
I had to learn that I couldn't control everything. Like literally like being like an older sibling, being the eldest daughter and having a younger male sibling
Yeah.
and like Latino like culture, like that dynamic, immediately I as the eldest daughter like get so much responsibility put on me so fast that like I know how to do everything. I have been told to like how to handle everything, how to take care of everyone, how to take
Like
care of
what to
myself,
do.
everything.
Yeah.
So I was very much used to acting that way and just again like controlling things, and I would have to catch myself speaking to them in a certain way.
It would
The
trigger.
situation,
It would.
I wouldn't
trigger
make it better.
something. Yeah. It would. It would escalate it.
So it would just be both like back and
It was.
forth.
Yeah. It was ugly.
No, I love what you just said though, Leslie. It's like, you know, Belle, obviously like you had stuff that you needed to figure out, right?
Mhm.
But like it wasn't just your fault. Like it sounds like, Leslie, you're like acknowledging that it's like that a lot of the time, right? Where
Mhm.
it's not just one person's fault. I think it's like it's not even fault. It's just like kind of how you guys
Yeah.
both, you know, contribute to a certain pattern or
Mhm.
dynamic.
Especially like before I even knew about like why you were feeling or reacting in the way that you were. Like I had no idea, and just in my head I was like, if this is just how they are. Before I learned how to like regulate my own emotions and not talk to them a certain way, like I would just be adding more to the flame.
Mm-hmm.
And then once everything was in the open and Belle was getting the help that they needed, I also like did some like self-reflecting, and I was like, okay, well, to be able to help them in that like journey, like I need to also know how to like speak to them or just like
do what I can to not just add to.
yes, like
Yeah.
for myself and also for them, because
Mhm.
it's like it was scary and it was new and it was a lot that they were having to deal with on their own
Mm-hmm.
too. So
I just obviously I see the difference from how it was before
mhm.
to now. I feel like we can get through anything.
Like any like problem can be addressed now, whether it's like the
Mhm.
smallest thing or something big, like it can be addressed without feeling like someone would take it like
It-
personally.
Yeah, it almost felt like every conversation that we had before could lead to an argument.
And it wasn't even like trying to argue, it was just
Mm-mm.
I like if I were to address something, like wanting to address it to like talk about it and then move on with it, like it would never really take that
Mhm.
path. It would just take all these other bumps
Yeah.
and like in the road to get to where we wanted to be, but it would be so draining.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot for us to get to the point where we communicate now, because we're like we like to establish like safe space, like now especially.
Oh yeah.
we can talk about anything. Like I always speak to her with like an open mind, and I know you do too. So I think communicating, especially about like our mental health, is super important to us.
Yeah, it's like you guys learned how to talk to each other,
Mhm.
like kind of the hard way.
Because I
right?
think when
Yeah.
we were long distance, not that we put up a front, but we would be going through our own stuff, and then when we talk to each other, we put up.
It was already kind of like you had
Yeah.
maybe processed it a little bit,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
Or it was also just easier to not fully address it either,
Because we were just
because
It
we
was
didn't
long
have to be on the
distance.
phone the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And now here it's like there's nowhere to hide.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
you have to figure it out.
Mhm.
Like even sometimes like if we're like nervous to bring something up, like Belle said, like we'll literally be like, okay, like safe space, like just to immediately like set that
We,
expectation,
we
like
legit
that.
we legit
I didn't
say
know
it.
that.
Yeah.
I
We
really
say
love
it like
that.
out loud, like this is a safe space.
just to be like,
so it
no
doesn't
matter
go
what
south.
gets said, like we are going to like think before we speak and take everyone's like feelings into consideration, like literally making it clear that like what I want from what I'm about to say is not for
Yeah.
anything to like escalate or whatever.
Right.
And not that it would, but it's just helpful.
It is
Yeah.
helpful to say it.
To like
It's
set the stage
yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah,
conversation.
exactly.
Especially in just like if I were to be doing something or whatever, if you came up to me and said like safe space and want to talk about, I'm like, I would put everything down. I'd be like,
Mhm.
okay, like full attention.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I love that, honestly. It's almost like safe space is that word that not only sets the stage for the conversation, but like it's like, oh, this, like, I need to give my full attention to
Mhm.
this person right now.
Yeah.
It isn't about me. Like,
Mhm.
they're saying safe space because like they want to share something that, you know, is maybe vulnerable or,
Mhm.
you know, and like I just need to be able to focus on them and not take something personally.
Yeah.
potentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a good way to put
I
it.
love that. Wow, thank you for sharing, honestly.
Tears.
So I'm curious, honestly, like on a lighter note, um, you know, something that you guys have alluded to here and there is like, you know, Belle, obviously you're Filipino. Leslie, you're Latina. You're from the Midwest. Belle,
Yeah.
you're from the Bay Area, very much so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
And so,
They're just
like,
missing the hat right now.
especially Belle, like, you've never dated anyone that wasn't Asian before. And,
No.
you know, like, on top of that, it's like you guys are a queer relationship, right? And so, like, there's all of this stuff that, like, makes up the identity of your relationship, right? And
Mhm.
so, tell me a little bit about that and how, and what's that like, just like
I
navigating
know
that?
that we're both different ethnicities, but we're something that we share in common even from the beginning is that we're very family oriented,
Mhm.
which I think is like number one priority for me to be with someone who, you know, would honestly take their family first, which I mean, because I would do the same.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I remember Belle was always very like one caught off guard, but also really liked that I talked about my family so much, like my mom and my brother especially, and like
Mhm.
literally always called them. Like I would, you've seen it. I
Yeah.
FaceTime my brother
Every
like
day.
randomly.
It's almost every yeah.
And we don't have to be talking about anything in particular. It'd be the most random things.
Something different also is like you guys say I love you.
Oh yeah.
We didn't really grow up with that.
Yeah,
So
not really.
whenever like it's whenever Leslie is on FaceTime with her family, like I really love it about how like you guys even can't you can't hang up yet until you say I love you back.
Oh, Belle, do you want to say I love you?
I'm
to
surprised.
who?
I'm surprised it didn't cringe harder than that. Honestly.
What? No, seriously, because like it's like something that I'm like, aw,
Mm-hmm.
like you guys like
Mhm.
really like, I don't know.
I think that our family says I love you in very like kind of acts of service kind of ways,
Yeah.
you know, like it's not that we don't love each other, obviously. It's just like it's interesting to hear.
My family specifically, like growing up, it was always like literally like so like I would do that to my dad and to my mom and to my brother and they would do
Really?
it back. And
Interesting.
as we got older, we didn't do that as much, but then the I love you was still always there. And I think my brother Loki like was the one that solidified it more as we got older because even like when I lived back home, he wouldn't if I was mad at him, he wouldn't leave my room until I said it back.
Really?
He'd
I
be like-
literally can't even imagine that.
No, because Juanito is so like,
yeah.
you know, and like it's so cute hearing him say like she would say it and he's literally about to click. Okay, love you too, bye.
Aw. Well, you guys, like Leslie, you've spent obviously a lot of time with our family because our family's here. But Belle, you know, you've spent a lot of time with Juanito,
Mhm.
Leslie's brother, and you've also visited in Chicago before, so you've got to like, you know, get to know her family a bit more. But like, what's that like? What's the difference? I'm curious.
Oh.
Belle, okay, my family, I think it's sometimes like everyone, both sides, is so nice and like very fun in like their own ways. But I think when Belle's like around my family, it's like a different type of outgoing.
I don't even know how to put it.
Yeah, you go first.
I just don't think I've ever been around like a Mexican family before like that. Like definite culture shock.
Like both
For sure,
sides
like-
want to feed you, but my side will literally put it in front of your face.
Like shove it down
And
your
be
I
like,
throat.
was
do you
talking
want
about
more?
the banda.
I was
Can
thinking,
you explain?
No, okay, well, it was Juanito's birthday and we actually surprised him. It was the last time I went to Chicago.
we're a vibe, y'all. It's a vibe.
You know, and I was with her family and like all your cousins and stuff that she's talked about a lot, so it was cool to like see faces and kind of match them with their names. But that was all before the music happened.
So
The sun was still up.
okay, so
Oh.
my stepdad is in a banda, so regional Mexican music, and he's the singer. And like for Juanito's surprise birthday, he brought his band. He wasn't performing, but the band came. And mind you, before the band is even there, like my family, both sides, mom and dad side, like they are the life of the party. If there's alcohol, it's gonna be a great time. Even like my cousins will be dancing, my uncles and aunts will be dancing. Our grandparents can be up in there dancing, not sitting down.
That's amazing.
Okay, well, the
And-
music at that point
yes.
was already so loud.
So we had to preface
that-
to Belle. I was like, when the band comes in,
It's going to
you
get
will
louder.
not be able to hear yourself. You will feel it in your body in a different way than at a rave. I told my cousins, I was like, oh, Belle's never experienced the banda. And they're like, oh, you're in for a great time.
Andrea, she was like, her arm was around it. Oh, you think this is loud? Just wait. Just wait. And I said,
And then they came in.
yeah,
You could not hear yourself.
I can't even
I don't-
imagine this.
because I'm sure none of you guys,
No.
no
Yeah.
one. So like, it was
Not a mariachi, all right? It's different.
It was. I don't.
It was.
No, it was. It was so lit though. Like, I don't think I'm there to that point to be on the dance floor, even though like all your cousins wanted me to. I like can't bring myself to do that yet. And it was the first. It was like an introduction, you know. I feel like once
You yeah,
I
you
That's
spent
get
when
more
there.
Belle
time-
met a lot of people at once. But
Yeah.
luckily, it wasn't like about you or about me. It was about my brother. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
the
It wasn't
attention wasn't
for
on.
sure.
yeah.
For sure.
wait, can I pee real fast? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Run, bulletproof, run. Yeah, you gotta run. What? Run, bulletproof, run. Everyone on Depop and OfferUp thinks that I'm a boy.
I mean, do you blame them? You're definitely not a girl. Okay, so unfortunately, we have to wrap up soon.
Okay.
But I do want to ask, what is next? You know, like Leslie, you're still in school, but you're gonna graduate soon.
Finally.
So yeah, like what are you guys up to after?
Okay. I graduate in December of this year.
Yeah, you do.
And then pretty much from that time until like June-ish, we'll just be trying to work as much as possible and just
Save up as much
save up
money.
as much as possible because we want to move to Chicago. Woo! I'm taking them with me to the cold. And
Hope.
that whole time is just going to be working and also just trying to sell stuff that we don't want to take with us. I want to try to look for an apartment before moving and just have like a little gap where we'll probably have to just be at my mom's place for like a week or two so we don't have to go straight
Like a
into
landing,
moving.
yeah.
Yeah, oh my god. We originally were going to drive, but now with the current state of the country, it is scary to drive.
Yeah.
Especially
across
through where
country.
you would drive.
Exactly. Exactly. So now I'm gonna plan on shipping my car, shipping everything. Carlo's going to go on a plane.
Yep.
Once we get to Chicago, I think it's just gonna be really exciting figuring out what we'll be doing.
Mhm.
But I think it's just really exciting for Belle.
Oh my
I'm really
God.
excited for
I'm
them.
really excited
so
for
I'm just
Belle.
like,
We're
you
all
don't
rooting for Belle.
know-
This is like their character development.
Yes,
growth
I was like,
right
you
now.
don't know how good it feels to move away from home
I have
and go
never,
somewhere where literally no one knows a damn thing about you.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm excited because I've never. The farthest that I've moved away was like 40 minutes away in San Francisco. So
Belle is gonna have so many like career opportunities,
Yeah.
more than I will, which is okay. But like, it's just crazy, and I think that's what's also making me like so excited for them
Mm-hmm.
because the options are like endless for you. Like it's if you like keep doing like photography, videography, and like all or editing for someone, like it's not going to be limited to tech companies
Yeah.
like it is here.
so true.
I'm looking forward to that part too because I love like living in cities too. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities there for me too. And I hate it here.
Yeah, honestly, like me and Belle moving in together in San Jose was supposed to be temporary. This was kind of just a stopover because of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 5 years later, we're still here.
Yep.
Well, I'm excited for you, Leslie, because you know this is the pitfall of having two very family-oriented people. that
It
have
sucks to
families
be
on the
away
other
from
end.
one.
Yeah. So it's like, this is your time. You've been here since 2018. You know, you paid your dues.
I did.
And however long you guys end up being there, it's like, you know, we'll figure that out later on. But yeah, Belle, I think that like you've been kind of soul searching for a really long time. This move is going to be huge
Yeah,
for you.
I'm excited to just have like a clean slate. But I'm also gonna it's gonna be hard not living with you.
Okay,
Okay,
we can't get into this
okay,
right
okay,
now.
no,
We're gonna
okay.
get mushy.
No, stop. Okay,
Yeah,
I know, but I'm like seriously because like you know me like so like in the back of your
Inside
hand, you
and
know,
out.
inside and out, and like you know how to communicate with me and stuff, and you guide me through a lot of stuff. So I think moving, I'm definitely gonna have to do that myself.
Yeah, like figure out how to
navigate everything. Like
That's why I'm so excited.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I trust me.
No, I
You have
trust
me.
you. I think
Yeah.
you're not gonna be alone. You have like, you know, a support system over there too.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm just like very curious, like what version of you I'm gonna meet after.
At least Belle thinks that like Michigan looks like the ocean, so they won't feel like they're too far away from the coast.
Okay,
Yeah,
when
but
Instead of a landlocked state.
no, when we went there, I'm like, I swear I see mountains. Like
the entire time I was like, no, I swear. And I'm like, you're literally delusional right now. I was like, your brain is making you see things. It is flat.
yeah,
It's flat.
Convince
Sorry.
yourself it's the ocean until you go and taste the water.
oh yeah.
Don't
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, no, living with mountains and stuff, it's just like programmed in my brain. Like I thought I saw a silhouette for some.
No, honestly, after moving back from San Diego, I started appreciating the mountains more.
Really?
But like I never saw them when I was living here.
Yeah.
You know, but now like, you know, I drive to yoga and I'm just like, oh my god. Like,
yeah.
In San Diego, I was like, those were mountains to me. Like the hills were mountains to me. And I was like, wow. And then
wow.
Bay Area going on the 17th for the first time, I was like, oh, those are mountains.
Yeah, these are mountains. Oh my god, you haven't even been to Tahoe.
Nope.
Those are mountains.
Not yet.
Oh shit.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one. Unfortunately, we only have time for
Rapid fire?
one rapid fire question, and it's gonna be, you guys are each gonna have your own answer. Okay. So, what is one thing that you find the other person does that's really cute?
What?
I don't know.
Let me think.
Yeah, you go first.
No, you go first.
Ah!
You obviously have an answer already.
No, because I just knew you're probably gonna say a bunch of things and not think of one.
Go on.
No, it's okay. No, okay. This is funny, cute, and it's like the most like smallest thing. But like Belle, they're not like the most feminine person sometimes, and like sometimes it could literally be like they'll be like, and like just like their hands go like this. They'll be like, oh, thank you.
And it's like,
And just
whoa.
like the way they
like,
grab
where
stuff.
did that come
And
from?
I'm like, but it's just so cute. Like it's so like
delicate.
yes, and they're not that.
I actually haven't seen that, so I'm gonna look up for it now.
Or wait, Belle like scrunches their nose randomly a lot, and if they scrunch their nose, their dimple on this side comes out,
You have a dimple?
and it's my favorite thing. Yeah, because it's always like you licking your lips and like your nose goes.
Whatever. I didn't even know
I
that.
love it.
Yes.
So cute.
Okay, I have my answer. It's not bad. It's cute. Well, not
Just say it.
no, it's okay. So wherever we go, we have to get a drink first. Like in
That's so
order
true.
in order for us to go places
Like
Yeah.
Dunkin'.
In order
boba.
for me to be willing to go
Anywhere
run errands
for me-
that's
with
more
me?
than one stop, they need to get me a drink so for me to be willing to go.
That's very
like
valid.
it could be any drink, and sometimes it's like 11, 12 at night, and she's like, I want something. She looked at me. I'll be like,
It's like, what are you gonna
Do
do
you-
about it?
do you, like, do you want a drink?
Is that it? Is that the cute thing?
Yeah, it's adorable.
Oh my god, guys. It has been an hour and a half.
Dang.
Honestly, I knew this was gonna happen because
I
we are all
know.
chatterboxes with each
we
other.
can
Like
all
there's
talk
no way.
forever. Like we need to have, this is not even,
we need to have our own podcast.
yeah, we just need to have a podcast with the four of us and the dogs.
Like and comment if you'd like to see a part 2 of us.
Part 2. Oh my god, we can do a follow-up after you guys move to Chicago.
Yeah.
And how
Just like-
Carlo's doing in the cold because
Oh
I'm
my
worried for
God.
these
yeah,
two.
dude, they cannot handle the cold. So the next time we'll see Belle and Leslie will maybe be when they're in Chicago. But thank you guys so much for being so open and vulnerable with me. I know it's a lot. to share. It was so great to have you guys on.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
about our son.
I
In the
know
beginning.
that's
Oh,
gonna
now
be
he's like out.
yeah.
Now you want to
Now he
sleep.
would- If anyone wanted to follow your relationship online, like, is there a place where they could follow you?
My Instagram's open.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your
Mine's
Instagram?
not private. Leslie, Leslie, an extra E at the end. Period. No, .x. That's it.
Well, I mean, Belle, you don't have a public Instagram, but you do have a
Follow
professional.
directed by Belle.
Directed by
On
Belle.
Instagram.
Yeah, you guys feature in it a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this episode, you can follow Ordinary Love Podcast wherever, like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And you can also find me at solacetherapy_ on Instagram.
She's the best therapist out there.
Oh
I'm
my
not
gosh.
being biased.
And if you want to hear more episodes, you can catch Ordinary Love every other Tuesday and hear it from a different couple every single time.
Period.
So thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.